and welcome to this Wednesday night edition of Randall's Comics and And as you can tell by the little preview, I'm shooting the first part of this video on a Tuesday, and I'm still waiting, as you can see, for the special package to get here with my Milkbone Superman Crypto comic book. But like I said, I ordered this book last week. It was a provider, a YouTube provider that I watch. It's a Patriot Comics, and he had a episode about this book which piqued my interest, and he said it's a limited edition. It comes with a shipment of Milkbone uh, tea biscuits for treats for dogs, and there's a comic book, there's a Superman Crypto comic book inside. I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can get this book, and I went to a couple of sites, and of course, it was sold out. And I finally went back on the Milkbone website, and they had some of these books. And this leads us to the topic for tonight, which is movie tie-ins. Like I said, the history of the tie-in marketing has been around for decades, with examples dating back to the early days of cinema, where product placements and promotional tie-ins were used to promote movies and consumer goods. This practice has evolved over the years, with brands from various industries forming strategic partnerships to capitalize on each other's strengths and appeals. And of course, the comic book was going to get into any kind. I've got some examples popping up here. We've got the old Heinz, Deadpool, Wolverine. We've got the Star Wars Darth Vader burger. I don't know if I'd eat that. That's a pretty dark looking bun. Anyway, Rice Krispie treats with Star Trek tie-ins, and of course, the list goes on and on and on and on. And a little more about this. Like I say, of course, it's an example of movie and toy tie-ins. Many blockbuster movies, such as Star Wars or Marvel franchises, partner with toy manufacturers like Lego or Hasbro to create merchandise that promote their movie and the toy brand, driving sales and increasing brand recognition. Fast food and movie promotions. Fast food chains such as McDonald's often partner with movie studios to offer limited meal promotions with movie-themed toys or packaging, capitalizing on the movie's popularity and increasing sales for both parties. And of course, let's fall into so here we got here. We got another one here. Like I said, it used to be these companies would reach out to the studios in hopes for a partnership or collaboration with the film, but they wouldn't always be successful. In modern times, now it's the complete opposite. Studios are now reaching out to companies, which is why moviegoers are seeing more and more partnerships. Studios are aware these partnerships benefit them and their film. That's why they're doing it. Brand tie-ins help the studio reach their secondary audience or anyone who happens to be watching or paying attention. HSN, for example, has helped films with this. HSN has said that moviegoers are more aware of a particular film because they've seen the advertising for it on their website. Licensed merchandise is just as important as movie posters for studios and production companies. As much as 40% of the movie merchandise is sold before the film is released. The Harry Potter franchise has an endless supply of merchandise associated with their films, but the franchise that blows any film or other franchise out of the park is Star Wars, which has generated more than $12 billion. Think about that. Nice one, George. And now, of course, building off of this, we got the new Superman movie coming out, and of course, you have this comic book with Krypto, Superman's dog, and of course, what appeals to dogs, treats. So Milkbone, wow, that's they say, hey, let's give this a try. So, like I said, I saw this promotion on Patriot Comics, and of course, this is a little bit of market speculation. Okay, so like I said, let's get into a little market speculation. Market speculation involves investing in assets with a huge risk of loss but a high potential for return, often focusing on short term price fluctuations rather than long term value. It's a strategy where investors bet on the price of an asset going up or down to profit from these price movements. Of course, this was done in during COVID. I missed out on that one, thankfully, where comic books um, were, of course, they were priced, way above probably where they should have been. That's market speculation. They think the price is going to go up, but over the long run, of course, the price went down, which is where we're at now. And a lot of the people that bought in on these products, these comic books in the COVID era, they probably they're some of them are just having to hold on and hoping that the value of the comics rise, or that some are just selling them and just taking a loss because they figure these books aren't going to achieve those prices again. And of course, market speculation, it just doesn't happen in comic books. It happens all over in the stock market and crypto, and that's why this promotional that I got, this promotion, it's a limited edition, and Patriot Comics, they've shown on eBay where people are selling this book for $90. And granted, the book it's I think it's $5.99, maybe a little more of that. Plus, and I had to pay shipping and handling, so it's probably like $15 altogether what I paid. But you know, to buy these books and sell them on eBay for like way above. This is a classic example of market speculation. And of course, you see some YouTubers. This is their bread and butter. They say, hey, this character is coming out in this movie, or this character is going to be in a TV series, and they start specking, as they say, and that drives the popularity, and of course, that drives the sales of the books. So, without any further ado, of course, I'm still waiting for the book, and hopefully, the book gets here, and I'll be able to complete this video showing you me opening the book and presenting you with the doggy treats and the Superman book. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Like I said, this is going to be kind of an impromptu video because I'm waiting for the package to get here. Like UPS says, it ain't Amazon. I guess it gets here when it gets here. So I'm doing a little bit of the video now, and hopefully by tomorrow the book will be here. I can just do a quick couple of videos and just finish out the editing and put this up on YouTube so I can keep with my deadline that I put on the little 19-second preview that I posted on YouTube. All right, let's see what happens. Alrighty, and guess what came in the mail? I feel like a kid on Christmas morning. All right, let's go ahead and get this bad boy open right quick. But like I said, it's a kind of a raw book. So I've got some triage, got a bag already ready to go with the backing board, just in case. All right, let's get this bad boy open, shall we? Let's see what we got. So let's get this out of the way. This isn't going to be part of the shot. Okay, let's cut across here. Actually, we need some better lighting. Okay, that's a tad bit better. So we're going to cut across here, cut across here. Ooh, there we go. There we go. Yep. There we go. There it is. And I think you can see the comic book at the very bottom. So this is the part that people were kind of a little bit leery about. So here's the milk bone treats. Woof woof. Let's set those right there. And here is, wow, that's in pretty decent shape. Like I said, it came raw like this. Let's open it up. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's do triage. Let's do triage here. Let's put it in the, if it'll go off in there. Yeah. There we go. Got it bagged and boarded. Bag boarded. And wow, let's take a look at that. Let's get the box out of the way. Wow. What do y'all think? I was a little worried there. I was thinking that maybe the book wouldn't be in that great a shape because, like I said, it was shipped raw. Like I said, just like this was it, with some packing material at the bottom, nothing protecting the comic book. But all right, let's get back to and this kind of felt like kid on Christmas morning. But let's get to and see what y'all think about the aftermarket movie tie-ins or movie tie-ins. All right, on All right, we were saved by the bell tonight. I got the little ding while I was at work saying, "Hey, your it arrived," and and faster than a speeding bullet, I got home and went to the my locker when you get like boxing. Yeah. What do y'all think? It looks pretty good. And should I keep the milk bone treats? I think I'm gonna give the milk bone treats that my coworker has a bunch of pups at her house, so I'm gonna give her the milk bone. I don't think it'd be a good thing to keep these milk bone treats in the box for her, and just like keep the box for my personal, to go with the comic book. But yeah, I mean, I was a little worried there because it was almost like when you're a kid and they got that decoder ring at the bottom of the cereal box. This is what this felt like. Getting that box of cereal, and pouring that cereal out just to get that decoder ring. But yeah, what do y'all think? Pretty nice, right? But anyway, so I mean, what's your take on the aftermarket, or the movie tie-ins? To be honest with you, I don't have a problem with it. Um, it brings attention to the movie. It's of course it's great for the bottom line of the producers of the movie and the product that they're selling. And like I say, we as consumers, like I say, we can get some enjoyment out of it as well. And I definitely got some enjoyment out of this. Just waiting on the book to get here. And like I said, this is a pretty entertaining episode in my book. But anyway, if you like this episode, please smash that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell when you get so you get alerts when I'm bringing out new material. And as always, look at that. And let's sign off like we always do with a little super peace and some fish grease. You guys take care, and I'll see you on the next episode of Randall's Comics. And